This game should be really easy to do a shipping video for. Obviously, Rose and Louis should date each other, leaving Charlie and Abby to date each other. The end! La la la, I don't have theme music, la la la. No, but seriously, Rose and Louis are my official couple for this game. They're the same age, they like each other a lot, and even Nancy picks up on the romantic feelings between them. She asks Hanna if they're dating. Hanna says no, and dang it, Hanna, you're killing the romance! This is why Hanna isn't allowed to appear in any other games after this one. She's a relationship killer. No, but seriously, in the book, Louis takes Rose to the Winter Festival and kisses her on the cheek. It's cute, and that just adds to the drama when it's revealed he's the culprit. In fact, I get the sense that the game backtracks on the Rose-Louis relationship just to spare Rose the indignity of crushing on a culprit. I can understand the temptation to not let culprits date other people. You're a culprit! You don't get to find true love unless it's with another culprit. Is that how it works? Let's see. What else about Rose and Louis? He graciously volunteers a lot of his time to help her with the renovation work. Of course, that's because he's secretly evil and trying to sabotage her, but she's probably touched by the gesture. If you tell Louis about Gumbo Foo, he runs straight to Rose and gets Nancy kicked out. Rose trusts Louis so much, she doesn't even try to hear Nancy's side of the story. So yeah, Rose and Louis are currently in the friends who like each other stage, but they haven't officially started dating. If it turned out that the culprit was Charlie, then I would have wanted to see Rose and Louis date in the ending. Then again, the last two games both had endings where the male lead and the female started dating each other, with Daryl and Connie, and then Rick and Maddie. If the first 3 games of the series all had endings with dating, then that would have been overkill. And you'd be able to figure out who's the culprit in every other game by eliminating the suspects who would make a great couple. I thought about it, and I don't think it makes a difference which character I focus on here. If I ask who Rose should end up with, it's Louis. If I ask who Louis should end up with, it's Rose. Unless he was only pretending to like her in order to distract her from his evil deeds, or because he thought it would make it more likely to succeed when he pressures her into selling the house to him. Yeah, so if his relationship with Rose was a sham to begin with, then no, he doesn't deserve Rose, he should be alone. With Rose and Louis taking each other out of the picture, that leaves Abby and Charlie. They're both good with tools and such. He fixes a lot of broken things. She sets up the complicated network of haunting effects. He's a history student. She's clearly done some investigation into the 1800s. They have some things in common, just like 1 or 2 things, so maybe a relationship would work. But there's a problem. Abby thinks that Charlie is creepy. She complains about him, doesn't she? It's like one of the conversations. She says, "Oh, I was just downstairs, and then Charlie showed up out of nowhere, and it was creepy, and I don't like it." Yeah, it is creepy that he secretly lives behind the bar, and he watches Abby setting up for the seance. But that's no more creepy than Abby secretly spying on people through a one-way mirror and cameras. She has hidden cameras, right? I don't quite remember if she does. Anyway, so Abby doesn't really seem like she'd want to date Charlie. We don't really get a sense for whether or not he likes her. He seems a little bit in awe of her because she's his boss. She gets to, order him around all the time. So he doesn't really want to mess with her. And that's sort of the sense I got of how Charlie feels about Abby. It's not the start to a good relationship. So I'm going to say that Charlie should date Nancy. And yes, maybe this is because Charlie is voiced by the same guy who plays Ned in every other game after this one. But Charlie is a lot more friendly and open to Nancy than anybody else in this game. So that's how I would break down the shipping in this game. Rose and Louis, Charlie and Nancy, and poor Abby gets no one. Bonus character time. Hanna Gruen. This is the only game where she appears. This will probably sound silly, but before I was a Nancy Drew fan, I assumed that Hanna Gruen was Nancy's mother. She's almost always seen with Nancy's father. They're around the same age, and they live together. To a casual observer, yeah, she's basically Nancy's mom. So I thought she was married to Carson, and that's why I think Carson should be Hanna Gruen's love interest. Now I kind of wish I remembered the books better, because I think she used to be married, but her husband died. She still goes by the name Mrs. Gruen when it's convenient. I wonder what her husband was like and how he died. I don't know. I'm sure that fans of the original books would be able to quote her entire life story at length, but I've mostly read the modern series, and she doesn't really appear that much in them, just like how she doesn't really appear that much in the games. So what is Hanna's personality? She's a generic nice person, I guess. She has an older sounding voice than Nancy's father, so maybe she's not the same age as him. Maybe she's just an elderly widower. In that case, let's pair her up with Pa from Trail of the Twister. He's an elderly widower too. Emily Foxworth, Nancy's reporter friend, who apparently is always traveling the world and giving advice. She works hard, and she's kind of got a minor sarcastic streak. I remember she complains about her boss sending her on assignment when she just got back from assignment. This is just a shot in the dark here, but I'll go with Nicholas Falcone. Emily and Nick, they both have the same amount of enthusiasm for everything, and their accents are kind of similar, so maybe they're from the same general area, or not. Okay, so let me just recap. Nancy Drew with Charlie, Abby with nobody, Rose with Lewis, Lewis with Rose, Charlie with Nancy, Hanna with Nancy's dad, and then Emily Foxworth with Nicholas Falcone. Okay, so what does the internet say about these characters? Lewis with Rose. Ha! I knew it! Lewis with Abby, also a popular option. I don't think they ever interact in this game. Lewis with Nancy is a bad idea, obviously, and nobody told me who the other would be in this case. Charlie is also pretty clear. He should date either Nancy or Abby, with Nancy winning out. I kind of want to see Abby and Charlie as a couple now, because I'm fairly certain that somebody out there has written Nancy-Charlie fanfiction. There's fanfiction for Nancy falling in love with every hot guy in this series, right? Right? There's got to be fanfiction like that. Nancy is so amazing. She has to date hot guys. But actually maybe not, because this is the first poll I've done where people think a character should date Nancy. Yeah, for all the characters in all the previous games, everyone said no. I guess that speaks well of Charlie. People think Charlie is good enough for Nancy Drew. Rose should date Lewis, although a lot of people think she should date no one. Yeah, the internet's agreeing with me on all the answers so far. Awesome. Abby's race was the closest, with Charlie winning. No one came in second place, so I guess she can live the rest of her life as the weird person who runs a bed and breakfast and attempts to scare strangers. So, again, I'm going to say that, hey, the internet totally agrees with me on Abby kind of either Charlie or no one. But just like the last two games, people say Nancy should date other. Although Charlie did come closer to winning than any of the men in the previous games, neither Charlie nor Lewis was a popular option. So I'm going to take back what I said earlier about people wanting to pair Nancy with all the hot guys in this series. They clearly don't. They clearly do not want Nancy to date every hot guy ever. So, okay, fine. Nancy does not get to be the detective who falls in love with every hot guy who comes along. I know with the Hardy Boys, Joe Hardy basically falls in love with every hot girl who comes along. It's basically every other book. So we'll save that behavior for the Hardy Boys. Nancy is more of a dedicated person. She cares more about her work and not her love life. Oh man, that's gonna ruin this series because this is all about a shipping. Yeah. Anyway. So I'm kind of wondering how long I'll have to continue this video shipping series before I find a love interest for Nancy that people actually approve of. I'm thinking it's either going to be Game 13 with the Hardys or Game 25 with Ned. I asked people on Twitter to come up with pairs for Hanna Gruen and Emily Foxworth, the bonus characters. I got a vote for them dating each other, and nobody had any suggestions as to who Emily should date. Poor Emily. Hanna had a couple of suggested beaux. We got Carson Drew. Yes, that is correct. Alexei Markovic, Prudence Rutherford, and Dave Gregory. I could see Carson. Yep, Carson, come on. Yeah, I got all the answers correct here. I could also see Alexei Markovic. They're the same age and they live in the same town. Maybe they know each other. Prudence Rutherford? I don't know what Hannah would see in Prudence. Prudence has been married to 3 different men, and she's not really nice to any of her husbands. Unless Hannah is a gold digger and just wants Prudence's money, I don't think Hannah would be like that. But as for Hannah Gruen and Dave Gregory, yes! Yes! Best couple of the series!